Okay, excellent. Let's get started. We're going to set up the development environment. So what you do and what I do matches very closely. Here, I'm using Windows 11, and I've got a little caveat there. If you're using a Mac OS or Linux, that doesn't matter. You can just bypass the bits where I get my Windows 11 and I make it run more like a Linux, and more specifically a Debian Linux. Okay, so you'll also need an internet connection, admin rights on your PC, and a GitHub account. If you don't have a GitHub account, then go and create one now and come back, because we will practice feature branching, which is a common way development teams work together in a GitHub project. Okay, now in this lesson, we'll do several things. I'm going to set up WSL, that's Windows Subsystem for Linux. That's how I'm going to get my Windows 11 to work like a Linux computer. VSCode, because these will work very well together. I recommend using VSCode if you're able to do that. If you're not, then write to me. If some things don't work quite the same way, I might be able to help you out, but I'll be using VSCode. And so if you can copy me, then that's better. Okay, so we're going to fork and clone the repository. So there is an application that we're going to be working with. It's a minimum viable product, proof of concept, MVP or POC. It's just an application that we will be playing around with and eventually deploying onto AWS and using Terraform and setting up observability and everything else. Okay, so don't be too focused about the applications. It's just a very minimal thing, but it has some aspects that are common across many applications that you might come across. Okay, so it's written in Python. We'll need to install dependencies and then we'll run it locally. And that's the aim of this first lesson, just so that we're all on the same page. Okay, so if you're running Windows, let's set up Windows Subsystem for Linux. Open a terminal. So terminal, you can use command or PowerShell, but terminal essentially is just PowerShell anyway. I'm going to make that larger. We need to run WSL install. So WSL install. If you're running Linux or a Mac, you don't have to do this. Just bypass it or watch it. Okay, quite a few little things to do to set it up. Okay, it's automatically installing Ubuntu for me. Sometimes you might have to run that yourself. What you should do is reboot your computer and then install the Ubuntu distro like that. But it's already doing it for me because I already did this in the past, probably. Okay, so need to create a username and password. It doesn't have to be the same username and password of your computer. I'm going to just make something up. That's my username, VSCode, and my password is that. Okay, so very good. Remember, if it didn't automatically install Ubuntu for you, then reboot your computer and then come back into WSL just by opening a terminal. Terminal. Like so, and running this command WSL install Ubuntu, but I already have it now. And in another terminal like that, not that one there, that's actually an Ubuntu terminal now. And actually I'll just close it so it's less distracting. This is back into the Windows terminal, which is actually PowerShell. If we type WSL list verbose like that, it will tell me that I have Ubuntu on it. Okay, now just closing that as well. If I want to come back into it again, I can click that. And if I just start typing WSL, it's actually now got an icon on my computer, WSL. Okay, and there it is. If I just do Control+, it will make the font larger. And if I write host name CTL, there we go, it's telling me it's Ubuntu 26 LTS running on my Windows computer. Now, the next thing, VSCode. Install VSCode for your operating system. If you're using Windows, then install a Windows version. Okay, so launch VSCode after the install. You'll have a welcome screen. There's no project open just yet, but what we'll need to do is install the official WSL extension. So open up the extensions option. That is this icon here, extensions. And if we just search for WSL, there we go, that's the official one by Microsoft. Install that. Okay, so that's done. Don't need that. Okay, now WSL new window. So Control-Shift-P. So if I just minimize that, Control-Shift-P, and then start typing WSL new window. Connect to WSL a new window. That's one way of doing it. Down here it says it's opening remote. starting VS Code in Ubuntu. Rightio, we don't need that first one anymore. Okay, so there's a welcome screen, and down here, bottom left, it says WSL Ubuntu. So running in Ubuntu WSL2. Okay, so don't actually need that one anymore. We're going to run it all from here. So terminal, new terminal. Okay, that's the Ubuntu running in the terminal. I'll just press Control+ a few times to try and make the font larger. There we go. And if I was to run host name CTL again, there we go. Ubuntu 26.04. Okay, excellent. Now we don't need that welcome screen. The next part is to fork and clone the repository. So this is the repository that we'll all download. Now, what's important is that you fork it first. Okay, so if we visit that in a browser, okay, so this is the GitHub project, ads platform. Now, what you want is your own copy of this. So up here, there is the fork option. And you should see your username in there. It'll be written like your first name hyphen last name, and then you would create the fork. Now, I can't actually create a fork of my own repository, so I'm actually going to use this one directly. But remember, you need to fork it. Otherwise, you won't be able to commit your changes later back into GitHub, which is all part of the process of setting up GitHub Actions and automatically deploying, etc. So ensure that you've created your own fork. So what you will get when you're finished is your own version of ads platform, but with your own icon and your own name. And that's the version that you'll be working with. Okay, so then in your WSL terminal, just going to clear that CD, that little curly line, that will take you to your home folder. And actually, you should already be in your home folder anyway. You then want to git clone, copy that line. But here it says your GitHub username. You want your GitHub username, which will be your first name hyphen last name probably. When you are in GitHub and you press the code button, you'll see the link there. And so that's my version. Yours will be different. That's important. Okay, so basically that's what I've just copied there. So git clone. And if you right click on your mouse, it will just paste that into the console like that. Now, like I say, I'm going to be using my own version and you will be using your version. Cloning. Okay. Now, CD into ads. If I just press tab now, it will fill in the rest for me. LS. And there we go. There's some files. And that's what you should be seeing now. But you would have cloned your forked version of the example application, right? Now, you're unlikely to have Python installed, but you can just double check if you want. Copy that, right click, Python 3 version. I actually already have Python installed. But if you didn't, then run these lines here. This will install Python 3, the pip, which is what we'll use for setting up requirements, and venv, which is what we'll use to create the virtual environment. But just copy that. You can use that little icon there if you like, or just do that and then Control C. Then clear, right click and paste that. Doesn't matter if you already have Python, it's just going to install what's missing. My password. Okay, that's the password of the user I created when I set up Ubuntu. Okay, so it's updating now, just all the repository information so that my Ubuntu has the latest information. Okay, all good. That was pretty easy. I already had Python installed, but for you, maybe it will take a minute or two before that step is finished. Okay, we now need to create a virtual environment, and we do this because in Python, it's good to isolate the code that you're working on from the general operating system because you might end up breaking something else. So while you're in that folder, ads platform, which you should already be, you can see that down here. It says ads platform. Run Python 3 M, which means module, the virtual environment module, and that's a folder where its files and settings will be stored. So right click, Python 3 mvenv.venv. Okay, now if I just open up that there, the file explorer, and I'll just open this folder where we're at. So open folder, home SB code, ads platform. Okay, there we go. Okay, we've got a new VS Code running. We can close the welcome screen with a terminal opened up, and there's the .venv that we just created. This is where all the virtual environment settings and files go. But also what we got down here is all the files that we cloned from GitHub. So you should be seeing this by now. The next step is that we should activate this virtual environment, which I'm going to do now. So copy that in there, right click, source.venv. It's going to point to this folder here, bin and it's going to run one of these activate scripts, whichever is applicable to your operating system. And when you press enter, you now get this little thing here, this .venv in the brackets. That's our virtual environment. Okay, so it's important now that whenever we're working on this project, since it's written in Python, we should be making sure that we're always in the virtual environment. And I will remind you of this thing as we progress through each lesson. Okay, so that's what that's just saying here. Your prompt should look like something like that. Okay, now let's install the dependencies. Let's just make sure pip is upgraded. Okay, very good. Now installing the requirements.txt. In the project, there's this requirements text file here. It's just telling us what libraries this project is using. So right click paste. So pip install R requirements text. Okay, very good. That's done. Now we can confirm pip list. And if I just clear that and pip list. Okay, so it's telling me all the different dependencies that were set up just then. Each of these dependencies depends on other things as well. That's why there's quite a few more in the list. Now we can run the project locally. So uvicorn that. So I'm just going to clear the screen again, reload, and uvicorn, which is a little mini web server, has just started our application on port 8000, so 127001. If I just hold down control, it will give me a little pointer icon, and I can actually just click that and that will open the browser. Or you can just type that directly in the browser, that URL, if you want. And this is it, just a really minimal little application that we're going to set up and deploy using Terraform onto AWS and setting up observability, etc. Okay, so just give it a bit of a test, create an add, just put anything you like. I'm just going to put a whole bunch of ones. Okay, there's now an add on this little mini classified ads application. I'm going to create a second one, create an add, I'll create a third one, and I can delete one, and I can also edit it, put anything I like, spaces, and update add. Okay, so it's just a minimum viable product, proof of concept. This is not a course building a Python application. This is a course more about infrastructure. We just need something to work with. And this is quite a good application to start off because it might be typical of the kinds of applications you need to set up into some automated infrastructure. Anyway, there's some more information there. So it should be running. So hopefully that's what you're getting now. You're able to visit that in your browser and see that little application working. Hopefully you're not having any issues. If you are, then write to me and we'll iron those out. And then we'll be able to continue on with the next lesson, environment configuration. And this is an important step where we set up our application, which is not quite ready yet, in order to be able to deploy it to multiple different environments. That's important. Anyway, excellent.